Do you know, all I wanted after House 3, House 4, which just hurt me, emotionally hurt me, hated them both. I just wanted an entertaining 80s slasher movie. That's all I wanted. And I'm so glad that I picked Slaughtered High because this was just so nuts and made absolutely no sense that it was entertaining as hell. Now, is it a good movie? I'm not going to lie to you. No, it isn't. It's a bad movie. But it's one of them bad movies that are entertaining as hell. And you'll have a lot of fun with it. I promise. But I can't say it's a good movie. I can't hand on heart say it's a good movie. I really can't. But it was much needed after watching House 3 and 4, by the way, anyway. So we're going to get into the plot of Slaughter High. It came out in 1986. And Slaughter High is about this young lad called Marty, who was being bullied by the biggest bunch of dickheads in any horror movie I think I've ever seen. They're the most unlikable bunch of assholes. But anyway, I digress. I hate bullies. I really do. And anytime I see like bullies in a movie and stuff, I just automatically just hate them. You know what I mean? But anyway, unfortunately, young Marty's getting bullied, and he thinks he's going to end up with one of the girls who are in this bully gang. He thinks she's going to have sex with him. It's all a setup, just to prank Marty, get him naked. They electrocute him. Like, if that isn't harsh enough, and then they tip him upside down and start dunking his head in the toilet. The coach catches them doing this, isn't really sympathetic to Marty whatsoever, just kind of like fops him off, throws a jumper at him to get changed, and then tells the rest of the gang they've got to meet him in the gym at a certain time to punish them. And naturally, they all blame Marty. That's Marty's fault. That they pranked them and got caught. Of course it is. Makes sense. So, as they're being punished, they manage to set up another prank to get Marty back. Marty's doing typical nerd stuff in a science lab, as they all do, with, experimenting with certain chemicals, whatever. And unfortunately, this prank goes horribly wrong. Because whatever one of the bullies puts into this cup to make it froth and bang, whatever, unfortunately, it causes a fire in the science lab. And lo and behold, there's a massive tub of acid that's on top of the most unstable shelf you've ever seen. I mean, health and safety in the school would have had an absolute field day with this. Marty knocks it. Unfortunately, the acid falls off the shelf, splashes all over his face, disfigures him, and then he's carted off. And obviously the bullies are very sorry that that's happened, right? Jumps to 5 years later, all the bullies go back to the school, which I'll assume has been shut since that incident, because it's no longer open. They go back to the school for what they think is a high school reunion, but it turns out just to be their bully reunion, basically. And unbeknownst to them, Marty's in the school, killing them off one by one, basically. And then the bullies have got to find a way to survive the night and get out the school, or to get to Marty first. That's basically the plot of Slaughter High. Now, I'm going to jump into my positives first, because I've got a lot of negatives and I don't want this video to be too long. But my positives, straight off, is I like the lad that played Marty. To me, he was the only decent actor in the movie. He actually suited his part well, and I thought played really well. And when I was looking into this movie, I was actually gutted to find out that unfortunately the actor that played Marty committed suicide pretty much straight after he finished filming Slaughter High. And it put me on a little bit of a downer, because I hate seeing news like that. I hate seeing news of people taking their own lives, and it's a shame, because I actually think out of everyone that was in this movie, I think he was more likely to be the one to go out and have a pretty decent career, because I thought he had a lot of talent. So that was horrible. That was horrible to see and read up on, to be honest with you. It's a shame this was his only feature. But he is the standout in this movie. And I also like the look of Marty as the killer. You know, with the jester hat with the bells on and the old man face. It's creepy, you know, and it's unique. I haven't seen anything like that before. It probably is in other slasher movies or whatever, but I haven't seen them. So I like the look of him. He was cool. And I like the setting of it as well, being set in the abandoned school. It's a nice setting for a horror movie, for a slasher movie. And the mood is quite nice as well. There's a nice tone throughout it, which I quite enjoyed. Doesn't take itself too seriously, obviously, because it's absurd in a lot of places. But that's the fun of it for me. You know, when it pokes fun at itself, I have fun. What else? What else are the positives do I like? There was one effect in it I quite like, and you always know I give props to the effects team, especially in low budget horror movies. There's a kill where one of the bullies opens a can and drinks it, and it must have some kind of like acid or chemicals in it or whatever that makes the inside of the stomach start coming out and then blow up. And it was a nice little effect actually for the budget of what it was, because it's like extremely low budget, extremely low budget. I thought that was quite a nice effect. And there's a stop motion effect of this as well. With a girl in a bath, and acid starts coming out the tap. They're all part of my negatives, by the way. The kills are absurd, but I'll get to that in a minute. And there's a stop motion bit that lasts for about a second that I thought was quite cool. I haven't seen anything like that since the first Evil Dead movie. But I got a kick out of it. I appreciated it. I thought it was, you know what I mean. It's my little quirk of mine. So, to get into my negatives, there's a lot. And I'll try to make this as short as possible. Right. Why, in all these old horror movies, do they cast actors and actresses in their early 30s to late 30s to possibly early 40s, actually, playing 16-year-olds to 21-year-olds? They're so clearly not 16 or 21 years old. Like, it's just like the main woman in it. When she's leading Marty to think that that she's going to have sex with Marty, at the time of filming that, she's pretending to be 16. She's 33 years old. And looks 33 years old. She's beautiful, by the way. I'll just put that out there. But it always baffles me in them horror movies why they do that. And it's in a lot of them. So that's not really a negative to just this movie alone. A lot of them did it. Also, like I say, these characters are an absolute piece of shit. They're so unlikable that, honest to God, you really do root for Marty. You want him to absolutely massacre the lot of them and get out okay. And spoiler alert, he kind of does. But that goes to my biggest negative of the movie, which I'll leave till the end. And the acting by this mob, by the bullies, is horrendously bad. Really, really bad. And they're supposed to be American in the movie. And like, a lot of them had like British accents trying to be American. And I was like, what accent is that? And as it turns out, all the actors are British. This film was done in the UK. Makes sense, because the accents are just all over the place. Like, there's this one particular guy, one time he's British, and then at the end of the sentence he's American. Just, yeah, it's bad. The acting is terrible. And some of the decisions that these characters make in this movie are so dumb. Oh, it's so mind-numbingly dumb. Like, when that kill with the guy's stomach explodes, there's a bit of blood that goes on one of them. And she decides that she's just going to completely strip off and have a bath. While there's a killer running around. By the way, there's a bath in the school. and a bed. I'll get to that in a second. So she just decides to have a bath, as you do. Of course, yeah, why not? And then acid. She starts running the tap, and then acid starts coming from the tap. So how Marty would know that someone would strip off and have a bath to put acid running through a tap is genius, by the way. I mean, that's some foresight. And she dies in the bath. She melts. Instead of just getting out the bath, she's just trying to turn the tap off. And she just stays in there. And you're like, get out the bath. Oh, God, that was dumb. And then one of the other characters just decides that she wants to all of a sudden have an affair and cheat on her husband with another member of the group. During this period, they're being killed off one by one, by the way. She gets horny. Apparently, her mate's dying, decides she wants some cock. Oh, and another thing. There's too much male nudity in this movie as well. I've seen too many assholes and too many cock and balls in this. You know, not my idea of a good time. The female nudity was alright though. No, that's fine. But I don't want cock and balls. So, the bird that's horny, they decide to go to this bed. Like I say, there's a bed in this school, by the way. Right, fair enough. So they start having sex. And Marty has rigged the bed up to electrocute them. Now, how does Marty know that two of them are going to get horny all of a sudden and start sleeping with each other on the bed? Just makes no sense. Oh, but that's what I enjoy about this movie, though. It's just so fucking stupid. And also, they pretend like they can't get out of this school. Like, there's an electric fence at one point next to a window. But it doesn't look hard to get out of the school. I am pretty sure if I had someone that wanted to kill me in that school and was bumping my mates off, I would find a way out of that fucker. I am telling you, I would find a way out. Them iron bars wouldn't fucking keep me in. I would be out. And at one point in the movie as well, one of the girls really freaks out, runs downstairs and just opens a door and goes out. So they could easily have gotten out of this place. And she ends up dying anyway because she falls into the only hole that's outside the school. Oh, there's so much of it that doesn't make any sense. But it's fun. I can't lie, it's fun. But my biggest negative of this movie, and I'm probably going to have to do a part 2 of this video, by the way, because I'm going to go on. I'll tell you what. I'm going to stop this video now, and then I'm going to do the part 2 of this video with my biggest negative. Alright? So, go and put your kettle on, guys. Make yourself a cup of tea, cup of coffee, and come back to me. Alright? We'll talk in a minute.